Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You, bonus episode 8.
Never gonna get away from the numbers.
I will never.
She looked at me with such happiness on her face.
Like 8. It's just satisfying to say the numbers.
Okay, well.
So let's get right into these short stories. Oh yeah, short story edition again.
Mm-hmm.
Where we tell stories from Reddit or the tops of our noggin. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know how it works.
You know how it works? You're like, what do you think? I'm stupid? So I was inspired by myself. As I was saying that, I was like, that sounds so stupid.
No, I love that.
Because my last story was doppelgängers and mimics, depending when this comes out. But anyway, so I took some stories from different subreddits. I think it's actually all under paranormal, but they're specifically mimics and doppelgängers. So get ready to hear about them again.
Okay.
So the first one says, I vividly remember being 10 or 11 and going to my friend's house for the first time. When she let me inside, I followed her through a door in the kitchen that led down to the basement. She had just turned to the left at the bottom of the stairs, and I was about halfway down when my friend asked from the top of the stairs why I was going down there.
Nope.
I told her I followed her down there and was really confused. She said she never went down there. There was also no way she could have gone up another way in just a few seconds. That's like the end of their story. But
What?
I know. It's short, but creepy
What
enough.
were they gonna do in the basement?
I know. That's what it's just like. You never know what actually happens.
Yeah.
Like if you follow a doppelganger.
Just don't follow people to the basement. General
Especially
rule.
if they're not saying anything. If they're silently walking you down to a dark basement.
That means
like,
they don't want to tell you what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So don't go down there.
Like, I'm going to stay up in the kitchen with the snacks.
If we're going in the basement, I would like a full itinerary of what is going to occur in the basement.
Like, what's in the basement?
Nothing good.
Is it a cool basement? Do you have a story?
I do. Sorry, I forgot it.
You're like thinking about the basement.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, I don't know if it's a true story. I'm just going to say it, but it's like one of those stories I remember hearing at like a sleepover when I was little. And I feel like it was like one of those stories that then like, you remember when you would go to sleepovers and you would hear like a scary story and then you couldn't wait to go tell like your other friends about it. This is that story. Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay. I don't think you're
I love that you heard it. Wait, was it an actual story you heard at a sleepover?
Yeah.
You're like, I cannot wait to tell my friend 25 years from now. Just kidding.
I'm going to hold on to this information.
It was meant to make it on a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. So the story is about this girl, and she's a young girl, and her parents are out for the night, and she has a dog. And she always describes her dog as like kind of her like support, and it would always sleep, if not right next to her bed, kind of underneath her bed. And if she was ever scared at night, she would put her hand down so that the dog could give her kisses on the hand. Really cute. And so one night her parents are out for the night, and she kind of gets freaked out, and like she like thinks she hears something maybe in the house, but she's like, I'm just being in my own head. And so she puts her hand down to have the dog lick it, and he licks it, and she calms down. She goes to sleep. And she wakes up the next morning, goes into the bathroom, and on the bathroom mirror, written in blood, it says, humans can lick too.
Ew.
Yeah.
Wait, I feel like I've heard that story.
I swear it's one that, like, it gets passed around sleepovers.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've heard that story.
Yeah.
Ew, I forgot about that.
I know, I hate it.
As soon as you said she puts her hand down for her dog to lick, I was like, I see this going sideways really quick. I would just, even if my dog did that, I would never put my hand under the bed.
Yeah, absolutely not. Nighttime under the bed? Dangerous.
I still check under the bed sometimes.
Oh, you should.
Okay. I do. Okay. Next story. I picked these out a while ago, so I believe it's another mimic one. So here we go. When I was a kid in our old house, which I had vivid nightmares in almost every single night, sometimes I would hear my mom call my name. The problem, you ask, besides the nightmares? She wasn't there. I was little, but she trusted me enough to keep me at home for short periods, especially because she could count on our neighbors if need be. I was home alone for a little while, and she was out getting something from the garage. I hear my name, clear as day. So I run towards it, excited, expecting the door to open and see my mom. Nope. I open the door and nothing. But it was her voice.
Oh my God.
I was pretty scared afterwards. Just last week, the same thing happened. I was visiting, and side note, they live in a different house in town now, so it's a new house. And I hear her call my name. It's a bit muffled sounding because my door was shut, but I knew it was her voice and my name. So I stop what I'm doing, go downstairs, open the garage door after I couldn't find her in the house. I asked her if she called me, and she was confused with her music playing and told me no. Creepy as fuck. And that was a story I read when I was like, I've heard that you can hear the voices too, not just like see a person.
Yeah.
Which is almost a little creepier.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that.
Because it seems like they don't talk when they're in person, but it's almost like when they're not in person, they can like get in your head.
You're right.
You know?
When you see them, they're silent.
Yeah.
And then when you don't, they're chatty.
This chatty Cathy mimics.
Ew, I know. Yuck.
Okay, I have one more.
Cool.
I'm debating between two that are in my head. Let's go with this one. So this is a guy telling this story, and he remembers this happening when he was like a teenager, an older teenager, and he lived across the house from this family. And he remembers looking across and seeing the lights on in the house, and then just like something moving like in a really chaotic way. Ew. So it was like this like figure, and he was almost like, he says he almost felt like he should call the police because he thought it might be attacking the family. Like it looked like it looked human enough is what he says.
Ew, yeah. Human enough.
Mm-hmm. And so he's watching this thing like move crazily, like in the living room with the lights on.
It was just like someone dancing.
Well, and like that's what he said. It didn't look like dancing. Like it looked in a violent manner.
Okay.
And so he's looking at this, trying to figure out what's going on, and then it just stops, and it stops right in the middle of the window, and God. He's like, and I swear it was looking at me like from across the road.
That's so scary.
And so the next day he goes to talk to his neighbors, and he's like, hey, is everything all right? I saw something in your house last night. And the woman's face gets like pale white, and she's like, we are actually moving out of this house. We haven't been sleeping in the house because there's something going on in our home. And it's been terrorizing the kids so badly that like we haven't been able to live here, so we're moving. Yeah,
that gave me goosebumps.
I know.
I don't like that.
And so they end up moving out, and like he remembers, you know, okay, now he moves out to go to college, and he moves to a different town. Mm-hmm. And he's like, but I'll never forget that night that I saw that thing. Did that thing see me? Like, what was it? And if it was that scary, why are they like, you know, it was so bad that they had to move out of the home. Mm-hmm. Which, good job. Like, as you should. If something scary happens in your home, you get out of there. You don't like wait it out. It doesn't go away. It gets worse.
If there's like a ghost dancing violently in your
okay, dancing makes it sound.
But dancing violently.
Yeah.
I'd be out of there.
But so he moves out of town and he's at the mall one day and he ends up seeing the woman that used to live across the street from him. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and I've never forgotten about that night that I saw this thing. And he like goes up to her and he's like, oh my gosh, like, hey, how are you? And she's so sweet, remembers him and like all this stuff. And then he brings up, so whatever happened in that house? And she goes, I will not talk about it. Ooh. And he's like, but I saw that. She goes, I will never talk about that house. And he keeps kind of like pushing it. And so she just takes off.
Dang.
Like she will not talk about it.
Well, yeah, it was probably traumatizing. Mm-hmm. And also it's like, if it's something paranormal, I feel like thinking like speaking about it could bring it back or something. Ugh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. I won't be sleeping tonight.
You're welcome.
Why did we do this?
Yeah. Night recordings. Always a bad idea.
Well, I got one more for you.
Okay.
And then we could go home and sleep and think about all the stories we told.
Yeah, the fun part is when after we do this, I have to drive home by myself with all of these things in my mind.
Do you check your back seat?
Oh, of course I do.
Okay, same. So, next and final story. Okay. I've had an experience with a mimic. Or a doppelganger. It only ever copies my oldest daughter. Everyone in my family has seen her. One time, I was cooking dinner one night for my mom. I'm in the kitchen, and I see and hear my daughter hit the step to my mom's room. And side note, there's a loose piece of linoleum that always makes a click sound when someone steps on it. She knew she wasn't supposed to be in there, so I immediately looked at her and told her, hey, babe, you know you're not supposed to be in there, and I followed her. I look everywhere only to find she's sound asleep in her room.
No.
There was no way she could have walked past me without me seeing her. The thing is, it never speaks, as we were just saying.
Yeah.
It just walks by.
Gross.
I have no idea what its intentions are. As we talk about too, we're like, what do you want?
What do you want? Use your words.
Or don't.
Or don't, yeah.
They're like,
I just got the creepiest vision in my mind.
Oh my God, what was it?
Like, if it like, I don't even know if I'm going to tell you because then now it needs to live in your head too. It's like if they talk, like it's just like open mouth, like black hole kind of
like Dementor again?
Kind of, but scarier.
I feel like if it's a black, like just like a black hole, like it's like, I don't know. I can't even
like
imagine.
If it tries to talk, it's just like,
but it mimics though.
But it doesn't talk.
Oh, you're talking about when you see the actual person. Because the actual person doesn't talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what if the like mimic tries to talk and its like face gets all creepy?
Ew, that's gross.
I know.
Its face just gets like distorted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's in my head now too. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, I closed my story. Okay. My mom had seen her and spoke to it, thinking it was my daughter one morning. She thought it was super strange that she wasn't answering any questions and just walked off. Well, anyone who knew my mom knew you just don't walk away from her when she's talking to you. You were more likely to get a chancla to the face than having a rational conversation. I hear my mom come barreling down the hallway, screaming for my kid. I tell her, Mom, she's been here sleeping the whole time. I'll never forget the look on her face. It only ever mimics my oldest daughter, and only when she's sleeping. It doesn't try to get us to go anywhere or do anything. I'm confused. Same. So that wraps up my stories.
Same.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening to our bonus episode. If you have a short story or scary story or whatever kind of story you want to send us, you can send it to
IGSTTYstories@gmail.com.
Yes. Thanks for listening.
Later.